Hey everyone, and welcome! Have you ever looked at a drawing and just felt like you could step right into it, like it just pops off the page? Well, today, we're gonna pull back the curtain on how to make your own sketches look totally three-dimensional. And it all starts with a single, really important question. Right? This is the big one. How in the world do you take a flat piece of paper and create that incredible illusion of depth, of a world that feels like it goes on forever? You might think it's some kind of artistic magic, but actually it's a technique, it's a system, and it's something anyone can learn. And here it is. The secret is called linear perspective. Really, it's just a set of simple, learnable rules that kind of trick our eyes into seeing depth where there isn't any. And you know what the best part is? You can totally learn this. This isn't about some innate talent. It's all about technique. So let's open up that artistic toolkit. I want you to think of these next few ideas as the absolute essential gear you're going to need to build any believable world on paper. Get these down and you are well on your way. Okay, first up, the horizon line. This is, without a doubt, the anchor for your entire drawing. It's just an imaginary line that perfectly matches your eye level. Everything you draw is going to be based on this one line. It tells the viewer if they're looking up at something, down on it, or straight ahead. Next in the toolkit is the vanishing point. You've seen this a million times in real life. Picture yourself standing on a long, straight road. You know the size of the road are parallel, right? But as you look way, way into the distance, they look like they're getting closer until they finally meet at one single point on the horizon. Well, that point, that's your vanishing point. And finally, we've got orthogonal lines. These are the lines that do all the heavy lifting. They're basically just imaginary guidelines that you draw from the edges of an object all the way back to that vanishing point. They are the secret scaffolding that creates the entire illusion of something getting smaller as it gets farther away. All right, we've got our tools. Let's put them to work. We're going to start with the simplest form of perspective, 1 point. This is the one you use when you're looking at something head-on, like staring straight at the far wall of a room. So, let's start super simple. First, draw your horizon line across the page. Then, put a single vanishing point somewhere on that line. Now, just draw a rectangle. That's going to be the back wall of our room. See? Easy. This is the foundation for everything else. Now, watch this. This is where the magic happens. You just take a ruler and draw light lines from that one vanishing point, extending them out through each of the 4 corners of your rectangle. And boom. Just like that, you've got a floor, a ceiling, and 2 sidewalls, all of them receding perfectly into the distance. And once you have those guidelines, adding stuff to your room is so easy. Say you want to add a window on that side wall. Well, the top and bottom of the window will just follow their own orthogonal lines right back to that same vanishing point. And the vertical sides of the window? They just stay straight up and down. The system just works. And this rule applies to literally everything in your scene. Yep, even people. To make them look right, you use the exact same logic. You can draw a couple of guidelines from the vanishing point, one for where their heads would be, and one for their feet. Now, no matter where you draw a person in that room, they'll automatically get smaller as they move farther away. It's so cool. Okay, so that's the whole deal with 1 point perspective. It's perfect for when you're looking at a scene straight on. But what if you're not? What if you want to draw something from an angle, like looking at the corner of a building? Well, for that, we just need to add a second vanishing point. So welcome to 2-point perspective. This is where your drawings start to get even more dynamic, even more interesting. We're not looking at a flat surface anymore. Now we're looking at a corner, so we can see 2 sides of an object at the same time. So the setup here is a little different, but it's just as easy. You still start with your horizon line, but this time you're going to place 2 vanishing points on it, usually pretty far apart from each other. Then, instead of a rectangle, you just draw one single vertical line. That line is the corner of the object that's closest to you. Now, from the very top and the very bottom of that line, you draw your orthogonal guidelines. But here's the key. You draw them to both vanishing points. So you'll have 2 lines racing off to the left point and 2 lines racing off to the right one. Right away, you can see the 2 sides of our box starting to take shape. To finish the box, you just have to decide how long you want each side to be. You draw 2 more vertical lines between your guidelines to be the back edges. Then you connect the new top corners back to the opposite vanishing points to draw the top of the box. And that's it, a perfect 3D box, seen from its corner. And you guessed it, just like before, this system works for everything. If you want to add people, you can use orthogonal lines from both vanishing points to create a sort of grid on the ground. That grid helps you place your figures anywhere in the scene and make sure they scale down perfectly, no matter which direction they're moving in. So let's just boil this down, right? In two-point perspective, all your vertical lines stay perfectly straight up and down. Simple. Every other line that shows depth has to go to one of those two vanishing points. And that's pretty much the whole game. Once that clicks in your head, drawing anything from skyscrapers to coffee tables just becomes a matter of connecting the dots. You know, the artist Olga Sorokina put it perfectly. Perspective really is the key. It's not just some artist's trick. It's the fundamental way we actually see the 3D world. Getting a handle on it is what takes a drawing from just a sketch to something that looks professional and totally believable. Okay, so we've gone over the rules. We've walked through the steps. But you know, the real learning, the real fun, happens when you actually pick up a pencil. So now, the adventure really begins. It's your turn. So here's a little challenge for you. Just look around. Find a hallway or a room where you can see the back wall clearly. That's a perfect one-point perspective exercise. Or step outside and look at the corner of a house or a shed. That's your two-point challenge. Just grab a pencil and give it a shot. And hey, don't even worry about it being a masterpiece. The only goal here is to find that horizon line, place your vanishing points, and start drawing those guidelines. The skills we talked about today are like a key, and they can unlock any scene you can possibly imagine. So really, the only question left is, what world will you draw first?